so that we can actually have this again. All right.
We start
So,
over.
yeah, why not? A few more people joined in, and that way you can introduce yourselves.
Rewind a bit.
Rewind.
In the meantime, if any of you want to share what your names are or where you're from, that would be fabulous as we go over kind of the goals again. All right.
And we'll just go back. All right.
All right, so welcome, Nonprofit Wellness. Today we're talking about getting moving even when stressed. My name is Gabby, and this is
Ty. Hello, everyone.
Welcome, guys. So today we have a couple different goals for our webinar. The first is to identify current source of stress relief with exercise, understand the scope of possible stress relieving exercise possibilities, and then find a next appropriate exercise choice for you.
Awesome. So let's go through our agenda real quick. We're going to have introductions. We're going to talk about what exercise means to you, the definition of exercise, why is exercise good, I'll share our stories, stop and reflect, and then the spectrum of exercises and forming new habits. We're also going to take breaks in there, and we're going to ask you some questions that will require you to type in as well too. So get ready, stay focused, and let's do it. Let's get moving.
it.
So, hi everyone. My name is Taisha or Ty. I'm a former educator. I've taught 4th grade, middle school, high school, former instructional coach. I'm currently the CEO of Bikram Yoga Works, and I'm an ed doctorate candidate, and my title on screen is Whole Leaders Create Whole Schools. So this work is super passionate to me.
Hey, so my name is Gabby. I am a former early childhood educator. So I did kindergarten, pre-K, and then I ran intervention for 3 years in our school for the full early childhood. I'm now a wellness professional, so I do spin, HIIT classes, and personal training, and then have moved into this other portion of wellness, working with Susan and Nonprofit Wellness, including the Instagram. So please check us out and follow us, and as well as doing trainings and webinars. So welcome, excited to have you.
Sounds good.
All right, so we have a question for you in the chat box that we would like you to participate in. I want you to think back to this past month. What did you do to promote your physical wellness? For example, this week I went to a new class and trying to get out of my comfort zone. Went to Core Power. I am not about yoga at all. I'm more of the high intensity kind of person. So just wanted to try something new out and see what would bring me out of my comfort zone.
I like that.
What have you done?
So I read somewhere, I think it was some article that, you can park further away and just get that walk in. So that's been good for me. I've been parking no matter where I go to the grocery store, go to a meeting. I'll park at the furthest end of the parking lot. And then I'll walk, pay attention to my surroundings, breathe, and just enjoy the day, even if it's cold, just take that air in. So that's been super helpful for me.
Nice. That's both physical and mental. I love that.
Yes.
Go ahead, type in some ideas and ways you've been pushing yourself, working hard to, find some new exercise, nutrition, and rest. What have you guys been up to?
We used to be teachers, so wait time.
I know. We're really good at wait time. I can wait.
Wait it out.
There was this teacher that used to play the Jeopardy song.
Oh, every time to wait it out?
Yes.
I think that would probably make me answer.
Yeah.
We can start singing it. That's probably going to annoy them. All right. If you think of anything, we're going to keep it moving. But if you do think of anything and you want to share out, please let us know.
We got one. Someone who said it. Trying healthier recipes and substituting. Is that what you said? Yeah. Fabulous. I love healthier recipes. I've been trying that out myself too. Cooking more, period. That's most of it.
Can't join you. Definitely haven't been cooking more. Okay.
And Melissa says she went to a new yoga class.
Nice.
Fabulous.
Melissa,
Way to go, Melissa. All right, let's keep diving in here.
Let's keep it moving. So I want to share with you 2 definitions. This will help lead us as we're going through this webinar today. So physical wellness. Physical wellness promotes proper care of our bodies for optimal health and functioning. Encouraging the balance of physical activity, nutrition, and mental well-being keeps our body in top condition. Now, exercise, on the other hand, is a part of that physical wellness, and that's what we're going to dig into today. Exercise is physical activity that is planned, structure, and repetitive. Key point, repetitive. You have to keep doing it. It has a final or an intermediate objective. Okay. So keeping it moving. Why is this good for you? Why are we even focusing on exercise for today? Exercise is going to give you just an all around healthier lifestyle. That's very, very important. So, healthier lifestyle, healthy hearts, get the blood pumping, circulating. It could possibly help prevent diabetes. And all of these are from studies that we've read. Help prevent diabetes, help some cancers from coming back, even reduce symptoms of depression. It may delay dementia, and it can also improve your aspects of thinking. If you look at our diagram here, or you look at the picture here, and look at the brain, how the brain is working right now. So sitting quietly 20 minutes, of course, the brain is calm, quiet, but look at the activity you get just from walking for 20 minutes. Again, getting the brain moving, getting that mental health, and getting the healthier lifestyle all together. Super important.
It really makes me think about how walking outside is not even just a break for like me whenever what I'm doing,
Right.
but it helps like stimulate so many more ideas for me.
Absolutely. Oh, the creativity start to go. I agree with you there. So, Gabby, how about we jump into what exercises are good, right? Are good for us, right?
Yeah. And before we get there, I want you to really think about this as a journey, right? Ty and I have done this for a little bit of time. We've kind of devoted a larger portion of our souls and our brain and our physical space to it, but it's really personal, right? So I really like this quote: when it comes to health and well-being, regular exercise is about as close to a magic potion as you can get. So Ty and I have kind of figured out what that magic potion is, although honestly it always changes. So really haven't figured out kind of. But we'd like to share with you our story so you can start thinking about your own story. All right. So this is me again, same picture, different idea. This is my fitness story. So I was always involved as an athlete in some sort of ways up until about high school. And then when I got to college, my idea of fitness was going to the elliptical for like 5 minutes and then like holding a plank for 10 seconds. And I was like, that's good. We're done. Don't need any more. And so then when I came out of college and went into teaching, I continued that sense of like fitness, of like trying something, but not really realizing what I needed. And I came to a point in my second year in the classroom, which was also the first year I was a lead teacher, where I was just overwhelmed with stress, and found myself maybe having an hour throughout the day that was for me. And I mean like an hour as in an hour to eat my food, get ready for bed, and go to sleep. I worked from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., went home, slept, had a beer. It was not great. And so I found myself in this like really overwhelming place of honestly depression, probably. And so at the end of my third year, and yes, it was the end, I did not get the chance to do it during this year. My friend took me to a spin class, and it was free and it was accessible because I was with people that like understood me. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like the class, didn't like it, but I signed up and I kept going. And all of a sudden I got a little addicted and got excited, and I started feeling that benefit of this intense stress relief, and I started to crave it. And now, even though I've like moved out of the classroom and have been doing different things, the moment I find myself in a period of tenseness or an anxiety, like I'll get up and I'll walk around, I'll hold a plank, I'll find the next time I can go to a fitness class. That stress reliever was magical, and I don't think that I can find another way to do it now. It's hard.
So it sounds like just the day-to-day of life just took fitness away from you, but you knew that was something that helped or benefited you, so you went back to it.
But it was a journey. It took me a long time, but we did it. So you can do it.
Good. I like that. My story is very, very similar to Gabby's story. I come from a sports family. I was a college athlete, same thing that you said. And then once life started happening, I started having injuries in college. Your body is not doing the things that it used to after undergrad. And stress, teaching different things started to take hold of my life again. In the classroom, we're moving. We have, you know, appointments at the end of the day with students and different things. I could not find the time to work out. And I had 25, you know, papers agreed per class. I could not find that time. And I knew that getting back to that wellness, getting back to working out was going to be the thing to get me out of my funk. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Gabby, I spiraled for a while, just like you. The happy hour culture, the, you know, eating things that weren't good for me. And like you, it was a friend that dragged me out of bed one day. It was funny. She dragged me and was like, you need to go work out. She dropped me off, wouldn't even let me drive, dropped me off and was like, you can't leave here until you take at least 2 classes. And like you, it was a Pilates class, and I haven't left since. I knew that that was the thing that was going to help me sustain and, you know, mentally and physically. And even now, Gabby, little things that I do when I'm having a meeting, a conference call or something, I'm pacing the floor just to get some steps in. I remember you and I having a meeting and you're on the floor with like doing abductors or something to stretch out your hips. But we try to stay active even in those times because we know what it does for us and it does for our body. But it was okay to take that break, and we had to realize, you know, show ourselves grace in those moments, but know how to get back to what we knew was right.
Yeah, I think it's all about attitude too. And when we went into it, just realizing that it was going to take some time. That's what we're here for.
And find the thing that works for you.
It's so independent.
Let's keep it moving, Gabby.
Yes. So
talk to him. You want to talk to him?
Sure. So I want us to stop and reflect for a second. These are 2 questions for you. We talked about kind of who we are and what our why is about exercise. What's your why? What's the thing that's been driving you, or what's the barrier that's been holding you back from actually diving into some of this work? And we'd love for you to share some of those thoughts in the chat box. I know they might be personal, but you know, we're here to help. And the more that you're able to reflect, whether it's by yourself or in the chat box, the better.
So if you're going to rewatch this at a later date or play it with your team, this will be a good time to really stop and give people time to really think about this. We're limited time here. We're going to wait for a couple, but this is good. Once you get to the point where you understand your why and the affect behind, good or bad, why you don't exercise or you do exercise, this is going to help propel you. So we're going to give a couple seconds or a minute and let people respond minute-ish, or sing.
There we go. So don't want to go to the gym by myself. It helps to have someone there with me. Yes.
I agree.
I mean, both of our stories also included other people. And I think that social aspect is so important because 1, they're holding you accountable, and 2, you can like struggle with someone and talk to someone about it at the end. You're right.
So that's a good point. Grabbing someone, you know, finding that person. I used to have to bribe my friends and say I would feed them afterwards or something. We can go out to eat. I'll pay for lunch or dinner. Sometimes bribing a friend or tell them you'll babysit. You know, they get a free babysitting coupon.
There's another great response too. Just thinking about like finding a space that's comfortable for you. I think that's really tough for people, especially when they walk into a gym and not really sure what to do. If it's just like an open gym, that's tricky. But especially in a fitness class, I think people have that in the back of their minds. And sometimes it's about like having that mindset of, you know what, I'm going to try it, or finding that class, that space that makes you feel comfortable. And they are out there, I promise.
And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but group fitness, I like it because everyone's in there struggling, so no one's really staring at you, you know, because they're trying.
No one's trying to be perfect.
You know, they're on their bike trying to, you know,
just trying to keep up.
All right. So I mean, we will talk about those different places that you can go and feel comfortable where you don't have people staring at you. So, I want to thank you all for sharing. Thank you. A shout out to all of you. We're going to keep it going, and we're going to go straight into the different exercises and some of the exercises that you can try. So I'm going to kick it back over to Gabby for low impact.
Yeah, so think about, we're going to talk about a whole spectrum of exercises. This is just one portion of the spectrum. So low impact. The idea of low impact is that it doesn't hurt your joints or your muscles, and instead it's a slow buildup of strength and endurance. It still burns fat, it still builds muscle, but it does it in a slower way, and a way that, you know, if you have some knee issues like I have had in the past, like this is a great place to start. Yeah, always with the knee issues, right? So low impact independent exercises, so things you can do by yourself if you're that self-starter. Walking, at home yoga, desk workouts, especially if you work in like a non-traditional setting, the desk workouts are huge. A lot of these things you can find online on YouTube, but they're on Instagram. Walking is obviously free and available, but a lot of these things are free for you.
Yeah.
Now, low impact social things. So these are things that you might do with others. Obviously, we love them because team is always going to be stronger than independent. Just like Caitlin said, it's so much better to go to the gym with someone else, right? So workouts then can be a little bit more fun. And it still builds muscle, still burns fat. Some ones that we really like are yoga, Pilates, rowing, and walking. Yes, your walking buddies totally count. Yes. And Ty is a Pilates instructor, so she knows a little bit about that social aspect of low impact there.
Awesome.
Yeah. And yes. Oh yeah, this is perfect timing. It's time for our low impact little break here. So we're going to get ourselves moving a little bit. What I want you to do is push your chair back. Yes, all the sounds and everything. So I'm going to slide this down as well. All right, so we're going to do a couple different things. Number one is going to be leg raises. So as you're scooted back in this chair, I want you to ground yourself in the chair. You can have your hands resting on your thighs or by the chair, whatever is best for you. Then your goal is to use your right leg, and you're going to flex your quad muscle. That's the top muscle here, okay? So bending in a 90 degrees, you're going to flex and raise that leg so that it becomes straight. Slower the better. It's totally fine. Bringing it back down.
That's good.
It does, right? Yeah. My legs are sore, actually,
yes.
So it's just sore. Bring it back up, right leg, and lower it back down. Let's swap onto the left side, that left quad muscle. All right. Straightening it up. See if you can flex your feet at the top, hold it, and bring it back down. Notice how it even like contracts your abs a little bit. Yeah. So even though it's really low impact, bringing it like back up, it still is working a couple different muscles. And even just by sitting, all we did was sit here, you're getting yourself moving. Now, let's try one that's a little bit more like, let's level it up a little bit. Okay.
Let's do it.
So what we're going to do, this is a tricep dip with the chair. So hopefully you have a chair or a desk that's accessible. I'm going to scoot this all the way back. There we go. So what you're going to do is bring your hands on the chair, right facing in front of you. Okay. You can always bend your knees. You can let your legs come out if you want it trickier. And the goal with the tricep dips, yes, I think you, is to bring your elbows back as you come down. So this is a little bit more difficult, a little bit more stress on your joints, but not much. All it's doing is building that tricep. That's the muscle behind you right here. So Susan's trying it. She's doing it on a desk. Any space that you have, you can do it on a counter. I've done it. It's fun. It gets your muscles pumping.
A rolly chair, so it doesn't work on the
Rolly chair is probably the only one that
Please
doesn't
be
work
safe.
on.
Be safe, everyone. Lock the rules.
There are excellent workouts you can do with the rolly chair, like an ab workout. When you have, yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah,
I like that.
Always ways to get moving. All right, so thank you for participating. Hopefully you have a couple more, tools up your sleeve. Also might work with kids too.
Oh, that's a good one.
Just saying, they all work with kids.
A good brain, movement.
And then now we're gonna move on to the medium impact exercises.
Sounds good. Medium impact. Okay, so similar to what Gabby said, we're just gonna amp it up a little bit. A lot of the medium impact exercises can be done on your own time. And these are some of my favorite ones. I love biking outdoors, especially as the weather's about to break. It's about to be spring. There's so many bike trails. If you go into any bike shop, they can give you maps across the DC, Maryland area. So, they can be done on your own time. It can be done independently, and we'll talk about some social ones in a second. But biking, grabbing a personal trainer. A lot of gyms have personal trainers now. I think you can even like Google personal trainers in your area. And Gabby is here for a personal trainer. I was getting there. Running can also be a social activity. There are running clubs across the city, or just running on your own. Swimming, I know a lot of the rec centers in DC have pools, and some of the fitness facilities as well too. Strength training, and at home dance. Nothing like tossing on some music and just grooving out. I just realized that a lot of the old school songs, you go back to like Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, those songs are about 4 or 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a workout, going around the house. But the strength training as well too. You can now order bands online and bands on the doors and different things like that. But these are all things you can do in your own time, and you can do them alone or with others. I do want to talk about some social medium impact workouts as well too. Spin classes, and again, Gabby, awesome instructor. Dance classes, again, ton of dance studios around the DC, Maryland area. And again, like Gabby said, some of these, you have to do your research. You can find some free ones in the city. You can find ones that are reasonably priced, Groupons or different things like that to help.
What I also really like is not all these require a certain kind of fitness level.
Yes.
There are dance class, like I don't like dance because I don't feel like I'm good at it. However, there are fitness classes that I go to that are dance oriented, but they're also like more on the fitness side, so it feels a little more approachable to me.
Yeah, our studio do like the hot bar classes or mixed fit classes where you have those dance principles.
Yes.
You're still kind of being social, but you don't really know how to dance. Someone like me, right?
Can I jump in on
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I'm here too, y'all. Hi, and I'm Susan Comfort, and I love to dance, and I'm going to drag Gabby out now. But I just want to mention, you don't have to go to a class at a studio. There are many. DC's a big dance town, and when I started salsa dancing, you can go to a bar that has an open salsa dance night, and often they have a lesson at the beginning of the night to sort of fill up the space and to get people comfortable with the moves. So whether it's salsa, tango, swing, many urban areas have these dance nights at bars, and that's a double whammy for stress relief. You can go out with friends, you can drink if you drink, you can dance if you dance, you can watch and socialize, and it's a great scene. So it doesn't have to be like Joy of Motion or a studio. It can actually be, a bar and dance socially, which I think is awesome. So back to Taisha.
Thanks, Susan. I'm assuming Susan likes to dance a lot.
I think so. I would expect, the at-home cam, she's still dancing.
Right. Awesome. So again, medium impact workouts you can have some independent ones, some social ones. It's going to build muscle, build endurance. So that's that. I want to move on to high impact.
Yeah. Right? So high impact, these are the ones that are a little bit more difficult on your joints. They're harder on your joints. However, sometimes when you've built up from the other ones, I probably wouldn't recommend starting immediately here unless you're like in like full fitness shape. If you build up to these, they are fabulous because they can be super fun. They really build your muscles, and they also build these large muscle groups that we use in functional movement. So for example, a lot of these different workouts will make you squat. Squatting is super functional because it's helping you get off a chair. It also helps you pick things up off the ground. That's like a deadlift. There's so many different ways that these workouts actually support your everyday movements. That's why I love them. It's also why I teach them. So different examples of this. Most of them are social, but they also can be independent. So HIIT, high intensity interval training. That you can find literally all over online. You can also find them in classes. Boxing, you can probably do some of that on your own, like a little bit of shadow boxing here or there. That's always fun. I'm not a great boxer, but I think it is so much fun to do and like serious workout. But there are also classes in multiple cities, including DC, but there's also a free like workout space, I guess we would say. It's called the November Project. It's a running and HIIT kind of club, I think on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning. So it's super accessible because it's free, and they do it in different areas throughout DC, and I assume in other locations as well. I love it because they focus on a lot of team aspects, which is what we're supporting, right? So team is always stronger than doing things independently. They're building you up. They're getting you with that camaraderie. Some other ideas are leagues like basketball and volleyball leagues. You get a couple people together, you sign up, you pay a little bit of money, or maybe you find one that's like at the rec center, I don't know. And you are committed to a couple different like games throughout a season, right? And in that way you really find like true team and true accountability and something maybe outside of what you're normally doing. So these are the scope of exercises.
So I want you to take a look at this list. This is, a comprehensive list of all of the different types of exercises that we just talked about. We're huge on, grabbing that accountability buddy, grabbing that person in the cubicle next to you, in the classroom next to you, and making a plan and getting them to do it. While a lot of these independent exercises or a lot of these exercises you can find online or you can find on your, TV or different things like that, we want to emphasize that you stay safe, that you're doing these activities safe. So we strongly recommend getting into a class or with a trainer ahead of time so that you're doing these exercises properly. I don't know how many times in our classes we've seen, someone do a push-up and too much pressure in their backs, or, holding a plank and they're dipping their hips. We don't want you to hurt, because that's going to set you back as well too on why you don't want to do something. Yes, you may be sore after workout, but never, you shouldn't be pain or, knock something out of whack. So again, we have a lot of suggestions here. We're available if you follow us on our different social media platforms, and also, nonprofit wellness. You'll be able to contact us and we can give you suggestions as well too. But again, we want you to be safe and pick the thing that works for you. So try trainers first or group fitness before you do it at home totally by yourself, unless you know what you're doing, of course. Yes. So, all right.
So let's dive into this idea of how we're actually going to enact this change, right? So we have some ideas and things that we've done already this past month. And it's also like, beyond our 2020 goals that we set. Sometimes we've kind of let go of some of those resolutions. So now it's time to like challenge ourselves, challenge our current habit, and challenge those barriers. So up here we have the habit change cycle. So you'll see that it's a circle because it starts in one place, it requires a lot of things, but at the end there's a little bit of relapse, and we have to remind ourselves that's okay. And you might come back to that first stage, that pre-contemplation stage, and try it again. So I want you to acknowledge first, before we even dive into any of this, that it's okay if you relapse, right? There are a couple of different things that I want you to keep in mind as well. That it takes a specific goal to actually really make change, and it takes time, right? With that being said, there's a couple ways to kind of get in on this challenging your current habit, okay? So a couple tips and tricks that we've learned.
Okay.
First, with this specific goal, it really helps to calendar it, right?
Yes.
Realistically too, I can't tell you how many times people sign up for like 5 classes and cancel like right before that 12-hour window closes. Yes. So be realistic. What is something that your body needs? What's something that you want to do for your body within the week? Schedule it, put in your calendar if that works for you, and make it happen. Set your alarm the night before. If you're a morning person and you're going to get up and go work out in the morning, set your alarm the night before and pack your clothes, get your clothes set out, have your coffee ready if coffee helps you. If you're not sure if coffee helps you, try it. Why not? I'm telling you, it helps me a lot. If you saw me teach a class or take a class without coffee, it would be bad. It would be bad. Anywho, that's besides the point. So those are some ideas in the morning. Same kind of goes for the evening though. Like make sure you have the right snack that you need. Yeah. Make sure you're like fueled throughout the day. Make sure you have your clothes with you. Yes. That helps, that your commute's going to be like ready to go.
Cute clothes.
That's huge. Ty and I were talking about this. So I'm a fan of being able to like wear clothes that I feel good about. And I remember the transition. I remember the day where I was like, you know what? I deserve this. And finally I was like, I feel like, you know, I'm kind of together in this space, in this room. So like when you feel like you're not, I don't know, when you're not feeling super confident, you dress like a little bit more confidently, and then like it creates confidence, like that cycle. I don't know.
I'm with it.
You got,
I'm with you.
You got another opinion on it. It's okay.
I'm with you. The scragglier, the better. I'm gonna sweat in them.
It's
so,
true. I don't think
sweat
glam
in
it
my
up.
good clothes. I want to walk
True.
around and look cute in my good yoke pants.
I agree with that.
No.
I agree with that.
That's cool. I also finding that space, right, that works for you. Finding that space, that league, that running group, and different things. So that takes some time as well too.
It does. It takes some research, but if you're looking for a class or such, ClassPass has great spaces where they review. And sometimes it's really helpful, sometimes not. But sometimes it shows different places that are really community oriented.
Yes. I think you hit on something really powerful here. It's just making that decision right now that I'm going to do it. And then here's my plan. Just plan it out.
Yeah.
Get it done. I think we all can say if we plan it, it's going to get done. You know, so I'm with you there, Gabby. Yeah. So you want everybody to set a commitment.
Yeah.
What does this mean?
That's our goal. So together, all here, I want us all to start thinking about how we're going to make this commitment. But here's our language. Starting, I will do with the support of. So for example, this is my commitment, and I'm going to check back in with you guys about this. Please hold me accountable. Starting this month, I will commit to being a team player by attending my colleagues' classes. So with the support of my colleague and you all, Ty and Susan.
Awesome.
What about you, Ty?
Gabby, I actually want to come to one of your spin classes. So starting, can we say next week?
We can say next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Starting next week, I will attend 2 of Gabby's classes. 2. I'm setting 2 with the support of Susan.
Yes.
So she can babysit.
Yes.
Oh,
I will do it.
And I gotta take class.
That's important.
So 2, again, hold me accountable next webinar. Make sure I went. We should take pictures.
There you go. We'll take pictures. We'll post them on the Instagram. That's what we'll do. Absolutely.
Okay. So you got to post pictures as well too of you in these classes. We're setting goals. We're setting commitments. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put on my calendar. I'm going to make sure I put it in my calendar.
Okay.
I live and breathe by my calendar.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
We want to make sure we do that.
We do that. If you are ready to set some commitments for us to help hold you accountable, please share it. We want to hear what you guys are thinking about doing so we can help you in your journey. So I'm going to count it too. Actually, I'm going to set a reminder. Yes. Reminders are helpful for me.
You teach on Thursdays, Gabby?
I do 6 p.m.
6 p.m. That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
6 p.m. Thursday. Yeah. That's the first one.
Let's see.
So we are coming down to an end. I challenge you, make that commitment today. Make that commitment set a start date to do it. Find that accountability buddy. It could be someone, like I said, in the office with you, a couple people in the office with you. Put it on their calendar. Send them a calendar invite. You know what time you all get off. Send it out to them and go out. And make it social. Why not make it social? Go out, grab a bite to eat afterwards. Make it happen, right?
Yeah.
All right. So get moving, everyone. Before we finish up, we're going to bring Susan out to close us out. But we want to thank you all for participating. Thank you all for chatting with us. And again, I can't stress enough, get moving this week. Susan?
Awesome. Well, we are at, I wanted to introduce Mo anyway, so go ahead and put it forward. Here, let me get in here so I don't have to bend over and show my cleavage. So wanted to preview that next week, instead of doing the Office Systems for Stress Solutions webinar, which was originally the plan, we are redoing the Wellness Equity webinar with Mo. 1, because a lot of people couldn't make it and they really wanted to, and 2, because the audio cut out for a couple times. Hopefully the audio was okay on this one. So Zoom, get your act together on the audio. We will be back at you next Tuesday at noon with Mo Abdullah of Culture Energized. and we'll talk about the wellness equity and stressor scorecard, which is available at nonprofitcomfort.com. And then I don't know if you all mentioned where we are today.
No.
We could walk around and
Sorry.
show. It looks like we're just in some room, but we're actually at a school called LAM. It's the Latin American Montessori Bilingual Public Charter School. And I just did a training in Spanish for the entire staff here. And we gave out Take 5, which is not a healthy snack at all.
I can't wait to eat it.
Yeah, no, you definitely get one. But it is a reminder to take 5-minute breaks. And so those of you who haven't seen Taisha and I do our 5-minute break video, it's called Take 5 and it's on YouTube. And those of you who haven't seen Gabby and I at her other workplace, we were at Cycle Bar Noma.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we did a webinar on that was rewiring positivity and healthy habit change. So Gabby went more into the habit change cycle, and you can rewatch that on YouTube as well. And there's other ones on. We're starting to populate this YouTube channel and then taking requests. So Comfort Tuesdays are only scheduled through the end of February, but we need to figure out, were they helpful? Do you want more? We always have more stuff to talk about. But we are just want to be responsive to you all. So please do give us your feedback. Let us know what landed, what you could use more explanation on, what you would like to see more of. And we'd be happy to continue these or do more webinars in the future. But right now we're only planned through next Tuesday with Mo. So I hope you can join us. And anything else to leave our group with? I think we stayed on schedule. Good job.
Did.
40 minutes. Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
job.
No, I just think if you guys have questions or thoughts on anything that we've talked about prior or today, reach out on, they'll get an email. Yes.
Yes.
They're going to get an email, or on Instagram. We got you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. We want to help. And we're here to help. So thanks everybody. Have
Thank
a great
you.
rest of your Tuesday. And don't forget to stretch. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, they're doing an announcement. Stop recording.